Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me today. I'm really excited to talk to you about how Iago uses Machiavellian tactics to manipulate and destroy others in Othello. This oral presentation will explore Iago as a Machiavellian villain. Introduction to the play. The play Othello was written by William Shakespeare, who was an English writer, a poet, and also an actor. His writings or his literary works were mostly on traditional writings that were grouped into three, including tragedies, comedies, and poetry. The play Othello is a classical example of a tragedical play explored a respected Moorish general in a Venetian society named Othello. Othello married Desdemona, a noblewoman from the Venetian society, in secret. Othello came across a friend he called trustworthy, namely Iago, whereby Iago manipulated Othello into telling him that his wife was unfaithful to him. Othello, consumed with envy and jealousy, murdered his own wife. And later, when he discovered that his wife was innocent, he committed a suicide, ending his life. Who was Machiavelli? Niccolo Machiavelli was a 16th century Florentine philosopher and also an historian. He was known for his political ideas and theories through manipulation to gain power. Niccolo lived in the Italian Renaissance period, which affected his literary works. One of his most famous books that was released after his death is The Prince. This book contained his philosophies and theories on political power gained through manipulation, deceit, lack of ethics and morality for self-gain. Definition of Machiavellian traits described or explained in 4 words, such as manipulation, deception, lack of morality, and strategic thinking. Let's look at manipulation. Manipulation targets psychological traits to manipulate others. Accusations are made on doubts, forced targets on individuals' own downfalls. Deception, harboring the real motive to protect one's reputation and wearing a virtue mask. Endured others into trusting the antagonist who led others to their own troublesome ending. Lack of morality is the loss of ethical and positive behaviors. A behavior that misleads others into a trap or into their own downfall. Is also defiling a standard practice that is gone astray or that is gone in the wrong direction. And strategic thinking. It is a psychological manner of processing and analyzing a current condition or situation that needs quick attention. It is a clear and a very, very clever plan of achieving one's own future with success. Relating the Machiavellian traits to literature villains would refer to the negative forces from the antagonist or the bad people who drive the conflict. They oppose the protagonist, and their actions are motivated by self-interest or ambition and complex ideologies or philosophies to lead others into destruction. And a very classical example is the Machiavellian mastermind or Machiavellian traits, as mentioned in manipulation, deception, lack of morality, and strategic thinking. Introduction to Iago. Iago was a jealous soldier, a manipulator, and the antagonist who used Machiavellian traits to destroy Othello and others in the play. Iago appeared loyal and true friend to others with his own selfish motives. He was the mastermind of Othello's downfall. Othello and Iago were professional soldiers, whereby Iago served under Othello's command. Othello viewed Iago as a true friend who could be trusted and honest. However, without noticing Iago's motives and plans, Iago secretly plotted against Othello, including other characters in the play. That Iago used his own jealousy against Othello's destruction. In this slide, we will discover Iago's motives. Iago's main motives were based on jealousy of Cassio's promotion, his suspicion on Othello, and his desire for power. Number one, jealousy of Cassio's promotion. It was a professional jealousy that Iago was consumed with jealousy when Othello promoted Cassio. Iago believed in his own abilities that he deserved the rank. However, he was left out. The position was given to Cassio by Othello as the commander of the soldiers. And number two, suspicion of Othello. Iago suspected that Othello was having an affair with his wife, Emilia, whereby Iago used racism words or stereotypes against Othello, saying that Othello, coming from a Moorish society, he was uncontrolled with sexual appetite, that he came from an animal world or family, that Othello was unworthy, and that a black race represented the devil or evil, and that he was a witchcraft. And number three, Iago desired for power. His main jealousy basically started when Cassio got promoted instead of Iago. That he was jealous and thrilled for manipulation. That he used others against their strengths, their weaknesses, involving themselves into their own destruction or downfall. Iago's main ambition or aim was to inherit the position or hierarchy because of his intelligence that caused a tragic situation for all the characters in Othello in the play. Manipulation of Rodrigo. Iago identified that Rodrigo had two main weaknesses and that he used his own weaknesses against him and destroyed him. The two main weaknesses are money and wealth, and two, false promises about Desdemona. Iago manipulated Rodrigo, a wealthy suitor in the Venetian society, and used his money and wealth to fund his evil plans. Iago continued to engage Rodrigo to brainwash Brabantio about his daughter's secret marriage with a Moorish general, Othello, to stir up doubt and deceit in Othello's mind. Iago later involved Rodrigo into starting a fight with Cassio to get him removed from his position, and that Iago asked Rodrigo to assassinate Cassio, but when Rodrigo failed, Iago murdered Rodrigo to prevent his evil plans from being exposed. False promises about Desdemona, because Rodrigo secretly had feelings for Desdemona and decided to marry Desdemona, but lost his chance in marrying her, and that Othello got to marry her. Iago tricked Rodrigo to help him win Desdemona's affection by selling his land to get large sum of money to buy jewels for Desdemona to get her attention. Iago kept giving false hope to Rodrigo that Desdemona will finally get tired of Othello and turn to a wealthy suitor. Without Rodrigo realizing, Iago indirectly stole from him and left him bankrupt and ended his life by murdering Rodrigo. Manipulation of Cassio. Iago deceived Cassio systematically and professionally by using Cassio's weakness to tolerate beer. Iago continued to force Cassio to drink more and more alcohol until Cassio gets dead drunk. Cassio misbehaves in public after starting a fight with Rodrigo and got the former governor wounded. Iago's master plan was to ruin Cassio's reputation so that he would lose his rank or his promotion, and that Iago succeeded in ruin Cassio's reputation after a violent fight. Cassio lost his rank Iago then pretended to help and continued to mislead Cassio to seek help from Desdemona to gain his position back. Indirectly, Iago was creating a situation to manipulate Othello. In the process of Cassio's genuine request to Desdemona to help him rather to gain his position, Iago plotted doubt and more jealousy into Othello's mind about his wife's unfaithfulness. Manipulation of Othello, Part 1. In this slide, we will discover how Iago plants seeds of doubt and jealousy into Othello's mind, and the hints that he used to manipulate Othello instead of telling direct lies to him. Cassio followed Iago's advice to seek help from Desdemona in regaining his position back. Iago then used this situation to feed Othello's mind with jealousy, doubt, and suspicion on Cassio and his wife. Iago got advantage of Othello's insecurities and trust towards his wife and turned them into destructive jealousy. Iago used smart, strategic thinking and plan in causing psychological breakdown in Othello's mind. Iago used hints instead of telling direct lies to Othello. Some examples of hints that Iago used are indirect suggestion. Iago gave hints to Othello without further explanations and allowed Othello to draw his own conclusion in seeing his wife and Cassio have a conversation. Insincere display of hesitation is another hint that Iago used. Iago held back information and continued to make Othello desperate in begging Iago to share his deceiving ideas. And finally, half-truths is another hint Iago used. Iago told half-truths about Othello's age, his race, and his status as an outsider, a minority in the Venetian society, to discover biased stereotypes about himself. Manipulation of Othello, Part 2. In this slide, we will discover how Iago continued to control Othello's mind into believing his lies. Number 1, the handkerchief. The handkerchief was stolen by Iago. Later he gave to his wife and placed it into Cassio's possession. That handkerchief was Othello's first gift to Desdemona to symbolize their love and commitment. Iago uses the handkerchief to change the meaning of the handkerchief and draw Othello's mind into jealousy. Iago used this piece of cloth as a weapon, false evidence, and ruined Othello's relationship and his trust towards his wife. Iago manipulated Othello into believing that this handkerchief was given to Cassio to symbolize his wife's affair with Cassio. Iago turned Othello into a murderer. That Othello murdered his own wife with Iago's lies and destroyed his marriage and his professionalism as a commander or a general in the Venetian society. Use of deception and appearance. Othello regarded Iago as honest Iago, seeing him as a true and a loyal friend. Iago used his reputation loyal friend to manipulate Othello, Desdemona, and Cassio while labeling himself a trustworthy friend. Iago used a dramatic and verbal irony to hide his dark and manipulative nature, presenting himself honest and loyal. Dramatic irony is a storytelling device where the audience or the reader knows crucial information that the characters do not know. This gap in knowledge creates tension, suspense, or humor as the audience watches characters make flawed decisions or walk blindly into danger. Appearance versus reality. Iago constructed his ability to manipulate the view of others by presenting himself honest and loyal friend, but in reality, he was a dangerous manipulator. Iago used Othello's trusting nature and Desdemona's compassion against them in reality. Othello, without discovering the truth, observed the visual proof the false evidence of the handkerchief. Iago used the appearance of the situation to create false reality in Othello's mind. Othello appeared firm at the first place, but slowly Iago controlled his mind by planting doubt and jealousy and degrades Othello's appearance into jealousy and finally destroyed Othello in reality. Consequences of Iago's actions. In this slide, we will discover the two main consequences of Iago's actions. One, Othello's downfall, and two, deaths of the key characters in the play. Number one, Othello's downfall. Iago destroyed Othello's life, his career, his marriage, his honor and respect, and his reputation as a commander or a general in the Venetian society. Two, deaths of key characters. The victims of Iago's deceit caused deaths. Desdemona, Emilia, Rodrigo, and Othello. Desdemona, Othello's faithful and loyal wife, was murdered by her own husband because of Iago's lies. Emilia, Iago's own wife, whom he killed or murdered to protect his evil plans from being exposed. Rodrigo, a wealthy suitor Iago manipulated into funding his evil plan, was also killed by Iago himself to prevent his deceit or evil plans being uncovered. And Othello, the protagonist in the play, who was overwhelmed by guilt and regret after he found out the truth that his wife was innocent, ended his own life by committing a suicide. Iago perfectly fits Machiavellian traits by using his ideas, philosophies, or theories in manipulation, such as strategic planning or thinking, and using others' weakness and strengths into their own downfall, deceiving them or deception of his lies, lack of ethics or morality, whereby he took no consideration of being rude to others, ending up into Othello's downfall and causing deaths for the key characters in the play. Lack of morality. Iago showed no guilt or no consideration in being rude to others, causing destruction and death in the play. The theme of the play Othello explored innocence, destructive jealousy caused by manipulation, and love insecurities. Desdemona, who was innocent, became the victim in a tragedy. She was loyal and faithful to her husband, but her husband accused her until her death because of Iago's lies. Iago, who was the mastermind of the tragedy, appeared guiltless in a legal sense, but had indirectly destroyed and killed others. The causes of deaths by Iago's actions. Desdemona and Emilia, both were murdered by their own husbands. Desdemona's death, her husband Othello suffocated and stabbed her due to the lies or deceit he believed about his wife from Iago. Emilia's death, Iago, her own husband, also stabbed her to protect his mastermind plan or his schemes from being uncovered. Why is Iago a perfect Machiavellian villain? Let's discover why Iago is a perfect Machiavellian villain. Number one, he controls others, employs Machiavellian villain traits by controlling them systematically and calculated, by using their weaknesses, strength, and nature characteristics to destroy themselves or bring downfall upon themselves, masters Machiavellian behavior in appearance and reality, whereby Iago appeared trustworthy or loyal friend, but he was deceitful in reality. Iago also fitted Machiavelli's traits perfectly by thinking strategically. Iago used his intellectual ability and used others' greatest strengths to destroy and kill them. He also exploit characters' vulnerabilities, such as Othello's love insecurities, Rodrigo's secret feelings he had towards Desdemona, and his desire for wealth and to continue to grow richer. He also gave false image to gain trust from others and led them to their own downfall. Iago also lacked ethics or morality. He abandoned all moral behaviors, embraced the Machiavellian philosophies or theories that phrased and justifies, which meant absolute deceit, emotional and physical manipulation, like what Iago did to Othello, controlling his mind and gaining Iago's trust into his own destruction. In human act, Iago displayed to gain power for his own personal interest. Conclusion. The main idea of the play is a destructive jealousy and manipulation that ended lives of the important people in the play. The final thought. Othello demanded to be remembered as one that loved but not too well. He framed himself as pure monster. Othello asked the world to acknowledge his jealousy came from a destructive and manipulated person, Iago, who ended the family he was starting to build with Desdemona.